All right, all right. So if you guys want to hear me read through some of my comments, well, first of all, my name is Joannis or Joe Hatagua. I'm a Sierra Leonean American now living in West Africa. Now, if you guys want to hear me read through some of my comments, some of the interesting comments that you guys have put on videos, and just responding to some of the comments that I couldn't get to this past week, then this is the video for you. All right, so we are back and we are live. We're live on Instagram, we're live on YouTube, we're live on Twitter, Twitch, all the above platforms. My MiFi has been giving me lots of issues today, so apologies if the connection is poor and if you guys are having a hard time hearing me. It has been one of those days. But now that we are live, let me know where you guys are watching from. First of all, where are you guys watching from? And can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up so I know you can hear me, and tell me where you guys are watching from. I know this is a kind of last minute live. It's been, what a long day. But can you guys hear me, and where are you guys watching from? I wonder if I do this. Oh shoot, speaker phone. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, we'll do this so you guys can see that screen in the background. Where you guys watching from? Can you hear me? And where you guys watching from? If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. And also let me know where you guys are watching from. So I got a thumbs up from Just H-Man. Okay. Gideon King is watching from Kenya. Nice. We got Effecto Ka from Spain. Music Aficionado from California, SoCal to be exact. Gittins 2058 is watching from NYC. All right, cool. So we got people from a couple different places. We got Spain, NYC. We have Ashley watching from Atlanta, Georgia. I don't know how to say this name. Vries, Vries is watching from the Gambia. We got Las Vegas in the house. Las Vegas Things of Beauty is watching from Las Vegas. All right, cool. So today we're gonna read through some of the comments. Some of the comments I get on the platforms. Some I just want to read and answer those questions. Some people have questions, legitimate questions they want to ask. And others, I think it just might be fun to see what people are saying. So these are going to be comments from YouTube. The Instagram top comments are just far too many to read through and respond to. But those of you who are watching on Instagram and other platforms, I'm sure you'll find it interesting. So as a matter of a challenge right now, I'm trying to make sure the audio works on all platforms, and my video wasn't working on my laptop. So I actually had to turn my laptop into just the way to log in and connect through another device. So forgive me if I'm looking like all over the place, because I'm on 3 different devices right now trying to make sure that everything's working and make sure you guys can hear me. All right. So again, my name is Joe Hatagua. I'm a Sierra Leonean American now living in West Africa. I have a social media platform that is meant to connect the diaspora and Africans, right? We want to bring these two groups together. The goal is to help educate each other on the challenges that we're all having and how can we work together to build a better future for both of our groups. That's really just kind of the gist of what the platform is about. As you might have noticed, I got a lot more collaborations going on, with Africa Stream and a few other platforms. So you'll see that I'm doing some posts with them. And then I'm also doing my own posts, and I'm also a correspondent for some other platforms as well. So there's just a little bit of everything going on. Penda from Gambia is watching. We got Abdul from Nigeria. We got Ralph from South Africa. Wow. Marty from Mexico. Okay. Adiza from Nigeria. So we got people from all over the place, man. We got Nigeria, South Africa, Gambia, Spain, all over the United States. We got Mexico. Pretty diverse crowd. All right. So let's get into some of these comments, right? So, um, it's been a bit busy. I can't always answer all the comments. Minnie Roberts is watching from Oakland, California, and we got Anne Marie Harding watching from London. You can hear me great. So I'm gonna it's gonna be dangerous. Um, let me see how I do this real quick. I'm gonna pull up the comments, and I want to go through some of these comments from the good folks on YouTube. You guys might find this interesting. So we're going to go through some of the comments. We're going to see what people are saying. We're going to see if I can help anybody answer any questions. And we might get a laugh out of some of them, because sometimes when I go through these comments, I'm like, man, what are y'all thinking? So we're going to go through some comments real quick. And I'm interested to get your thoughts on what you see when I go through some of these comments. So we'll, and I definitely want to hear from you guys. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I still got those ums. All right, let's share screen. I'm gonna share my screen, and we're about to get through some of these comments. I already saw some that are funny. All right, let's see if we can just make this bigger so you guys can see it a little bit better. These are comments I haven't responded to as of yet. Do y'all want to see what was held for review? Let's start with what comments were held for review. Let's see what YouTube has decided was not good. Oh, none today. Interesting. That's good. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. That means that people have been productive in their comments. So, so Victor, longtime supporter of the channel, good friend of mine, known him for a while, and went to college, same college, is in New York, and he said, I still got to cut out my ums. So if you guys watch this video, I'm editing all of these videos myself. I edited 5 videos last weekend. And through that process of just kind of trying to get the content out from the Gambia, I definitely wasn't able to get all the ums. I say a lot, which you guys are probably noticing when we're live. This is something that I say frequently. And so I almost did it there. I have to actively work on not saying the word And it's something that, as a public speaker, you just kind of have to learn to do over time. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy. I just watched an interview actually with a professional reporter, and he's used to writing all of this stuff. And there it goes, there's an And he said like 80 times. And I saw that and I thought to myself, man, is someone on that level? I mean, I'm not a reporter. This is not what I do. I mean, I just started doing this, But anyway, Victor's right. I do have to get rid of those ums because it's distracting when you're watching the video. So he's right about that. I'll respond to that. JJ is asking, is there a chamber of commerce where startups can approach hopefully reputable businesses? There are, I don't know if there's a chamber of, there's other organizations, I should say. There are other organizations here that are helpful for businesses. People just saying whether watching, this penthouse tour, somebody said the audacity to put this apartment at $9K a month is just mind-boggling. Companies and embassies just wasting the people's money instead of building better public services. Well, that's one way to put it. Oh, let me tell you guys something. Actually, last week I got a strike on my channel because I read comments from the previous week from people online. So if we ever end up talking about vaccines again or anything of that nature, I'm unable, unfortunately, to read some of the comments that you guys might leave. I was told they gave me a timestamp for one of the alleged issues, and they gave me a warning. And you get one warning in 90 days. And I had to take this online course that basically says what's allowed, what's not allowed, what's misinformation, what's not misinformation, etc. So because of that, I wanted to just warn you all. I like to read everyone's comments, but it's going to be very difficult to do so if we're on the topic of like a vaccine or something like that, or the global sickness. Because if we're talking about these things, the platform is really strict with how they determine what is misinformation and what's not. Now, obviously, I wasn't necessarily agreeing with the sentiments. I was just reading them back. But according to them, it was against the terms of service. So, thanks for the video. I have a question for you. Our nurse daughter is planning to fly to Freetown to serve on Mercy ships in it for a few weeks. Her flight is scheduled to arrive around 2 a.m. If she has to wait a few hours for the Mercy ship's van to come pick her up, is there a safe place where she can wait at the airport, exiting customs and immigration? Yes, absolutely. Just there is a restaurant with seating just outside. Yeah. Many people also do wait outside. Many people do wait outside too. I did that actually. I was waiting for a parent to come into the country. I was at the airport and I waited outside. But yeah. What else do we got? What else do we got? Oh, somebody had some thoughts on the whole genocide thing. New Jersey. Okay, so Jasmine Mayo says, hello, God bless you. I've been following your channel for some time now, and I want to first thank you. You have given me and others the strength and courage to take this journey. I've done my DNA through Ancestry, and now I am wanting to start the process of my dual citizenship. If you can connect with me, I would also be grateful. God bless. Keep spreading the knowledge, my brother. Okay, I'll write back to her separately. I don't want to spend too much time writing that, but I'll get back to her. How long ago was that? My goodness, 3 weeks ago. Wow, sorry. I'll get back to that. There's been so many comments, as you can see. And I've responded to as many as I can, but it gets really crazy. Obviously, this is a good thing, right? The channel grows. You see, it gets tough to follow up with everything. So this, this one, when I was doing this Creole lesson, this person said the music in the background is annoying. All right. Is there anything here that's of substance? Oh, when I mentioned the updated fees, this person said, looks like Sierra Leone's off the bucket list. This other person says, I don't blame you. Get the citizenship and get up out. Wow. Okay. These are the views of these people and these people alone. These are not my views as the person who manages this platform and this channel. I just read what people are saying. To be very clear to all those who are interested parties, I am not agreeing with these thoughts. I am just reviewing them and sharing them. Okay? Just want to be very clear on that. I don't want to have to deal with any problems pertaining to this. Lots of comments and questions and thoughts on Instagram. Okay, Dondi says, I like your ums. Oh, I appreciate that. Organics for You says, in my public speaking class, we were taught to just take a breather in lieu of I actually did one as well. I just haven't practiced enough. So yes, I got really comfortable and I just talk like I normally do. And I've, so yeah, I do definitely make some mistakes and say plenty of times. All right, cool. There was another just right there. So, okay, so Mariama says, OMG, like seriously, I think I will border in Guinea. So that's what some people are saying because of the fees that are coming with the airport or with flights. But the thing is yeah, with flights, some people are saying they're going to go to Guinea and they can take the sea coach across because now sea coach, there's a sea coach from Guinea. It just depends on how late your flight gets in. Right. And then, you know, and when your flight gets in and all of that, because then that determines how long it's going to take, because it's over an hour from Guinea to get to Freetown. So, you know, I don't know anybody who's done that as of yet, but I've heard people make mention of doing it. Let's see. Any other questions, comments, thoughts, concerns there? Okay, so I'm not going to read that, but some people are disgruntled about that. Okay, so Tony had a question. How does Gambia compare to Sierra Leone as far as things to do, roads, cleanliness? You know what's interesting? Gambia is a really small country. In fact, I think it's not the smallest, the second smallest country on the continent of Africa, or within the top 5 of the smallest countries. And they have a huge nightlife, like many different places. Like they've done a really good job of building out their tourism sector. And so if you're in the Gambia, you'll notice that like there's certain areas in Banjul and other areas where there's there's strips of clubs and bars to go to. You know, when you're here in Sierra Leone, in Freetown, specifically in Freetown, there's a couple of spots that people kind of frequent. There's Vanity, right? Sorry, I'm just a little shiny. There's Vanity, there's Scarlett's, there's Toma, Kona, which is more of a dinner place. The View, which is more of events. It's above Freetown City Council in town. And there's a few other spots here and there, but in general, the main spots people frequent are Vanity, Toma, and Scarlett. Sometimes all 3 in one night, which I've done on many occasions, especially on my birthdays. And so when it comes to the Gambia, there's like so many different options. We went to 4 different spots and they were all packed spots. You know, we went to Propaganda, we went to Envy, we went to, what's the other place's name? Propaganda, Envy, Onyx, and Rios. And then there were other places that we just didn't get a chance to go to. So the Gambia has done a really good job, you know, really focusing on their tourism sector, which means their nightlife has done really well. In terms of infrastructure, they do have like kind of a main road that most people drive on to get around most places. And that main road is under construction at many times. And it's a dirt road a lot. So there's a lot of dirt and dust. But that is pretty similar to many areas in Freetown. I mean, we have more than just one main road, but we have some of those challenges as well. Cleanliness, I didn't see as much, you know, garbage in the gutters and things like that. I think maybe under the rule of some of the dictators that they had, I think they were pretty strict with some of that stuff. So I haven't seen as much pollution and litter there in the Gambia as I saw around different parts of Freetown. So yeah, I would say those are some of the things that I would mention. They've done a really good job with their touristy spots. Oh, their hotels are bigger in many cases, nicer in many cases, and also more inexpensive in many cases. Sierra Leone hotels, I had someone who just asked me about booking a room at a place, and they were charging $170 a night. And then in the Gambia, you have rooms that are $120 a night, where you have a pool right outside of your room. Like you can walk out onto the terrace and then walk into the water, and you're, you know, a minute or so away from the beach, and you can kind of just walk straight out to the beach. Whereas this hotel that's charging that much in Sierra Leone doesn't have those kind of amenities. They have a pool, but this place that we're talking about in Banjul has a giant pool in the middle, and then also has the other things. And they have so many other things, a big brunch. I mean, they have a number of different things and activities that they do. They even do excursions from the hotel. You could book excursions from the hotel at different places. Their tourism sector is far surpassed Sierra Leone's tourism sector by far. I mean, and it's interesting because it's such a small country. But that is one of the major differences. I would say one of the other major differences is older European women looking for love, or let's say companionship, with younger Gambian men. Generally in Sierra Leone, it's the other way around. Your older European or Western men for the younger Sierra Leonean women. It's flipped in the Gambia, and it's a cultural norm. It's something that comes up frequently. There's a whole documentaries on it. I'm going to do a video on it as well, but it's definitely a part of the structure there. So that's a very major difference. So whoever asked that question, I guess Tony McKinney, hopefully you're still around to see the answer to this. Let's see. Is there anything else that people asking? Oh, so Black Rose is saying from this Creole video, they thought that that Bintu was Guyanese. Well, she's not. She is Sierra Leonean, but I'm sure she shares some heritage with some Guyanese folks. So somebody's asking what is the monthly rent from a furnished 2-bedroom apartment in a nice area of Freetown? It really does range. I've seen everything from $300 to $600 a month to even more. So it really depends on the landlord. Okay, y'all come to Nairobi, Kenya. All Africa is not the same. Oh, when I said don't move to Africa, so this person only read the headline, as most people do. You know, about 80% of the people read headlines, don't actually read the substance or watch the substance. So all Africa is not the same. America and Europe are not any better, so don't move there either. So again, see, these are the kinds of comments sometimes you get when folks don't actually watch the video. Now, of course, I did say don't move to Africa, and I did it purposefully because I wanted people to come in, watch the video, and I expressed if under certain circumstances you should not move to Africa. Not everybody should move, and not everybody should move depending on certain circumstances. So that was the purpose of that live. This person clearly didn't watch the video because I in no way was comparing America or Europe to the continent of Africa. Although I will say, depending on the country, there are certain things that are available in certain places in the West that are not available in West Africa. Sierra Leone, do I hate it, love it? Very difficult to watch. The replay video and sound was bad, but keep pushing forward. I did watch. So this is the thing. My internet connection here is just going to be, it's touch and go. It's touch and go. I didn't go live from Pearl Hotel today just because I've had quite a bit of work to do. So I just tried to go live from here. And also I didn't want to have to travel all the way back home after I was done my live. So as soon as I'm done, my commute back home there isn't one. I'm sitting in the spot that I'll be in after my live is done. So let's get to a couple more. So this one is around the Cape Coast Slave Castle tour, and I guess is it Kanan says, as an African American, this has to piss you off to the core. I wouldn't want to visit this place. For me, I take it as if they had a beef with my people and shipped us off to this hellscape called, okay. I'm all for united globally, but don't get me wrong, but the hood politics I grew up with won't let me let this ride. I'm asking questions like what tribe helped with this, and then side-eye those folks for the remainder of my stay. Sorry, not sorry. So what this person is referring to is to some of the chiefs that did sell their prisoners and slaves into slavery. Now, I think there's a couple pieces of context that we have to keep in mind, right? So a couple things to think about, which take it how you want to take it. One of the things that I think is really interesting about the way people look at the slave trade is they're looking at yesterday's actions with today's context, which, by the way, I think in some cases makes sense to do because something that's wrong is always wrong. But I think there's some things to take into consideration. One, when tribes warred with each other, or if someone had a debt to pay to society, they a lot of times were in indentured servitude or slavery or prison of some sort, right? There are war prisoners that are taken and, they end up having to do hard labor, right? I think what's interesting here is you have to consider that these folks, most of the time and most of the people, they're either paying off a debt or, they're not expecting the results that were going to happen on the other side. But here's the other thing you have to think about. Most people operate like this. Whatever their deity is or deities are in terms of their external sanction, right? Religious deity. Then it's family. Then it's tribe. and now then it's other things. So as Africans on the continent of Africa, right, we're talking about 54 countries that have been created by Europe, but like a country like Nigeria has over, what is it, over 200 tribes. Ghana has 88 tribes. Sierra Leone has over 13, right? As small as Sierra Leone is. So you can imagine these different tribes saw each other as different. Even though we all see each other as African, or we see each other as Black, because these names have been given to these land masses and to us as an ethnicity, that is not how people saw each other. We today are living under the European construct of how to define this landmass that I'm living on right now, and define us as a people. And so I think you should all keep that in mind, because when we talk about people selling their own people, they didn't see these people as their own people, right? Remember, deity, family, tribe. So they saw these people as their tribe. And you still see tribalism today, by the way, across the board. I think the first group that actually decided to merge tribes together and create giant tribes and do it in a way more recently and were able to conquer more was like Europe, right? Where they all kind of went with one language in a group, in a place, and then called it France. And they did the same thing with England. It's the same thing with Germany, right? And then from there established those gatherings of tribes. You know, for the most part, Native Americans and Africans, prior to European involvement, were operating as disparate tribes. And one of the things, I think I read this in Sapiens, or maybe it was a theory that came out of what I learned from the book Sapiens, is like the country of China mostly had one language for almost however many hundreds of years. And that allowed them to, I think, when you have a language, you have a culture, a general broader culture. When you have a general language and a general broader culture, you have a pride in that larger group. And that's why a country as big as China, which can cover about 5 or 6 different major, massive countries on the continent of Africa, can operate that way. Whereas, and the Europeans were only able to get Hong Kong, which was England, and they leased it for 100 years and ended up giving it back. So, which is very different from what we had here in Africa and what we had in the Americas, right? And the theory is just that if you all are speaking different languages, you can easily be separated into different groups, right? They don't even have to use propaganda to do so. You're already separated. You're already warring with each other. You already see each other as other. And so, that's just something to think about, because I think that had a lot to do with why some, but again, many chiefs, kings at the time, were also taken into custody and also were enslaved, right? So it's not just like the only people that were selling enslaved people were chiefs. Many times they were also taken. So just take that into consideration. I don't know if that helps, but I just thought that that's an interesting sentiment. Let's see. Gus Motorsports says Africa will soon become the world's largest market. And Horselis, I guess, says it already is. Everyone is going there to invest because they see its potential. Gideon says it is a good thing that they are breaking away from being puppets. This is Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger breaking away from ECOWAS. I don't know if I can read that because I don't want it to be taken as me supporting their statements. These are just their statements. So on that topic of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, Okimute says these are landlocked countries. I doubt they can do much economically on their own. I just said this point. I guess we'll have to see. And they had a lot of comments based on that. People tend to argue about these things. This is to the video that I did with Mariama Forbes a while back. Amelis says, hey, nice video. What's your opinion on coming to Sierra Leone in the rainy season? Is it safe, or does, for example, flooding happen a lot? So my opinion is I would prefer not to come during the rainy season. Most businesses are shut down, and well, you probably pay less for like housing during that time. But you know, it's a bit of a pain to be here during the rainy season. It was my first rainy season in Sierra Leone. The last 3 years prior, or last 2 years prior, I was in Ghana or other places during what was considered the rainy season. So I missed most of it. Um, but in terms of flooding, yes, there is some flooding in certain places that are built where they shouldn't be built. So people who are built in lower areas, um, you know. But I think in general, depending on what your budget, you could probably stay somewhere and not have to think about any flooding. You'll likely be okay. Um, Somebody wants me to do a video comparing Gullah to Creole. I definitely will do it at some point in time. The Gullah Kichi people and the Sierra Leonean people have tied heritage. Some of the Gullah Geechee people were part of the Creole people that came back to Sierra Leone. So there's definitely a shared heritage and some things to explore there. Let's see. Sorry. So Hi Jose says, bro, who do you do this production for? Give me money. Sorry? Oh, the Sierra Leone coup. I'm not really sure what that means. Okay. That was an interesting comment. Oh, okay, Anita Howard had commented on a video that I didn't even see. Sorry, just now seeing it. What's up, Anita, if you're online? Let's see. This one says, please state correct information. Don't believe everything you hear. Ask the Father in heaven. This is an interesting one. This is a how to speak Creole video, and he said that. I'm not sure I understand that. Okay, let's see. All right, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm fading out right now. I want to be able to give you the best live that I can and offer as much value as I can, but it's been a long day. I've been up since 5 a.m. and I have to be up really early again tomorrow morning. So I think another time I'll go live again, but as you could probably tell, like the energy is not there. I'm super tired. So here's what I'm going to do. I will be back next Monday with a live prepared for you, and hopefully with a special guest. We'll see. Fingers crossed if we can make that special guest happen next Monday. If not, then maybe I'll do a special live with that person since they're not allowed to go live on Instagram. But that's it for now, guys. I think we're going to leave it at that. I am just exhausted. It has been an exhausting day. So, yeah, we're going to leave it at that. Oh, there were a lot of comments in YouTube that I did not get to. So let me do that really quick. Kenya says Boku. For waiting, I don't remember what this was for because this is from like 20 minutes ago. I didn't even see it. Shout out to you though. Aya. Oh, Aya says, "Oh, do you do Creole lessons? I need an instructor." I don't actually do Creole lessons. So this was just a video that I did with someone, and I did a lesson for people who are watching. So I had done it with Tree in Ghana, and people found it really helpful. So I just did the same thing with Creole. If you want to do Creole lessons, though, there are people who do like Mende lessons and I think Creole lessons. So let me find out for you. I think I have your info. So let me check in with you and find out for you and get back to you on that. Dan Diablo is in the building. Miss S. There is no excuse great enough to condemn a person's descendants for over 400 or 500 years and then some. So that was on the topic of people selling their own people as slaves, right? Excellent analysis of the historical construct of slavery. That's from Robert. Thank you. Aya says, sorry. Aya says, tribe is a misnomer purposely used to diminish African nations and empires. Fair. Miss S says, and while you're on the subject of slavery, I was wrong. Wrong of African leadership to ask their own reparations and artifacts back without asking for the return of the people. That's an interesting perspective. Africa has inherited guilt and shame that should be addressed by returning citizenship back to the heirs of the victims of slavery. I think that's an interesting point. I think every country should probably offer citizenship to returnees, much like Sierra Leone does. You know, because I do think that there was obviously, you know, there was a lot of pain that Africa had something to do with, the African leadership at the time. And so, you know, offering citizenship to come back to people, I think is interesting. And I think it would be beneficial for most countries, especially those that are working on getting more, you know, people involved in their overall, what do you call it? Their, you see, I'm fading. I am fading out. What's the tourism. So anyway, all good comments. I promise you next week we'll be back with another piece of content that will go live again, and I'll make sure that I don't do what I did today, where I was up at 5 up till late last night, had some deadlines for some clients and some other things that I was working on. But that's all going to be stuff that you're gonna like. There's a lot of stuff coming, so stay tuned. But with that, guys, I gotta go. I'm gonna end up falling asleep on the live. We don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. Start rumors that I'm on Kush or something. So, all right. So with that, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you all on the next video.